My name is Sheena with Rise Wellness Village, and this is our weekly prayer. This week we're in Gene Key 8, which is the Shadow of Mediocrity, the gift of style, and the city or the divine expression of exquisiteness. Let's go ahead and begin this invocation with the blessing of our 7 sacred bodies. Thank you to Richard Rudd, founder of the Gene Keys, for the wisdom of the 7 root races and their corresponding planes of reality. Angel of the earth, please purify my monadic body. Angel of water, please purify my atmic plane. Angel of the air, please purify my causal plane. Angel of fire, please purify my mental plane. Angel of the ether, please purify my astral plane. Oh, excuse me. Angel of within, please purify my physical plane. Where to even start? It feels like it's been 12 lifetimes since last week's prayer. I dove headfirst into that 5-5 portal and then into the mother wound that came through me during Mother's Day, into the celebration of sisterhood while I was prepping a book club we're starting here next month, combined with the deeper level of intimacy I've been feeling within my partnership. Y'all, I freaking met Devil Sheena last week and she was gnarly. She was everything I judged, manifested into my grossest projections, and I wore her for 4 days, if I'm being honest, although maybe I could say 41 years. She was my victim, and she had been so cloaked onto me, and she was heavy, and she sucked the life out of me. She drained my life force energy with her sob story and her woe is me bullshit. She was my narcissistic hell. I had literally become my own worst nightmare, and I wanted to scream and get out of my own body. One day, I slept the entire day. I mean, like the whole day, like 20 hours. I went so deep into my own inertia that I could feel myself returning back to the void, every single tendril of fear and unworthiness and rejection within my system. This gene key of exquisiteness also captures the quintessence of our own personal experiences of what heaven is like for us. It is what remains after the hell has been witnessed and returns to the void, claimed, accepted, and brought into the light. You see, a diamond is only revealed under immense pressure. And we too must face incredible obstacles throughout our life that shift the way we operate and give us a new lens to view life from. I love this gene key. Maybe it's the Leo moon in me expressed today as I adorn myself with feathers and jewels and I play dress up because it's part of my magic to step into the archetypes of the day through style. The programming partner to this gene key is my culture, and no surprise, the sphere that I was chatting about yesterday in my Gene Keys community call. My culture, my environment to me feels most supportive when we're all free to be ourselves, uniquely us, welcoming in our individual quintessence and style. I've always loved adorning myself, and I fell in love with fashion early on, always pairing odd pieces together, skirts and dresses over pants, and wearing tops as skirts, and always wanting to push the envelope to take something that was and revolutionize it. I've learned that that is such an important part of my psyche. It always wants to stretch beyond what it thinks it knows. This week invites us to go so deep into our stillness, our inertia, our hollow bone state, and then stay there, linger there, enjoy it there, and see what emerges. We all know what it's like to recycle an old idea again and again, and we see it with our fashion trends coming back every 20 years. And sure, we can put our own spin on things, but this gene key of style, it really reminds us it's not about what we do. It's about the essence we bring to what we do. It's how we do what we do. This is our quintessence. This is our exquisiteness. Sure, anyone can tell a story, but no one can tell your story. No one has perceived this Maya in quite the same way. I do believe there was a soul contract I came long before this incarnation where I said, I will experience narcissism and I will be so egocentric. The entire universe will revolve around me and everything will serve myself first. And for lifetimes, I lived that experience. I also believe I came here to experience empathy. I watched other people's experience with so much suffering and tragedy, and I went so deeply into their stories that I lost myself completely, and I empathized to my detriment. I believe I came here this time to learn how to neutralize the poles, to learn how within the darkness is the light, and within all light, there is still darkness. Enlightenment has been the longing of my soul, and it is a vibrational place that's available to all of us anytime. When we allow ourselves the freedom to sink so deeply into the present moment that all facets of time and space fall away. And in those moments, everything is perfect. Pure nirvana, Brahman, the ultimate reality of the universe. Exquisiteness, like the kaleidoscope of light shining from a diamond. This week I sat with my fear and I asked her what she wanted from me. She let me know that I was carrying an unnecessary fear of the loss of the person closest to me. And it was a seed that had been planted when I was 14, and I lost my grandfather as I watched my dad be implanted with the fear that he too would die young like his dad and his dad's dad. You see, my dad had a heart condition that I've seen reflected through Gene Key 25 show up in my life again since his passing in my beloved's heart. And until I faced the depth of my own darkness, could I realize my fear of losing my partner. And it was leaking out in self-sabotaging ways. And so I thanked my darkness for reminding me the gifts of being a medium. Loss isn't actually loss at all to me. See, when I was 14 and I experienced my first passing on the earthly plane, it was the sudden passing of my grandfather. And he came to me. His spirit came to me, and I knew then there was no such thing as death. And again, from the place of my deep, dark, scary shadow, I was able to remind myself that living with that low-grade fear of his loss was actually holding me, us, back. I'm feeling a deeper liberation now on the other side of being consumed by my own darkness. I have even more desire to play dress up and make love and go out and have fun with my partner. Why wouldn't I? We have this one finite moment to be in these bodies and taste the sweet berries of the earth and share the ecstatic bliss of love with everyone who is here with us. Interestingly enough, when I got out of my 3-day cocoon last week, I started feeling a craving for red meat. I've gone years without it, maybe, 9? It's been a long ass time, and when I shared my craving with my partner, he insisted we pick up some of the best meat we could get our hands on and give thanks and listen to how our body was informing us. I thought I'd be so satiated. I had built up this experience in my head, and as I ate it, I did not feel nourished by the meat. This darkness that came through me, it came in like an entity with needs and desires, and I had listened to her, and I had given in to her to eat this meat. And I recognized now I was here to reclaim my sovereignty on the other side and say, it wasn't the meat that I wanted. It was to see the love of my partner, that he would welcome this new iteration of me that had just come out of nowhere, completely breaking out of the routine that we had been in for over 2.5 years, to say, today, I choose red meat. And he said, okay, then I will too. Let's do it. Let's step into this all the way today. And let's get the best piece of meat and let's make it the most sacred. And then I realized, you know what? Thank you. I love you. That is love in action, to meet this new archetype. And then I remembered, you know what? I've got plenty of vitamins I can supplement, and I don't need to feel like I'm going backwards into a lifestyle that, for me, now that I think about it, feels a little dense. I actually cried after eating the cow. That's not who I want to be. And my intuition was able to remind me how I am all. We all are. We are the moon with so many faces, and our bodies may have different needs at different times, and we all have choices on how we respond to those needs. Right now, these days, I'm choosing to honor everything that comes through me. And I'm especially choosing life. I am choosing to see my shadow as my potential selves. And I'm creating with all that chi, all that life force energy. I'm choosing to feel good about how I eat plants and beans and rice and things that can fill me with light and life force energy. I am choosing to accept that the darkness is part of who I am, but I don't always have to respond from that darkness. The animal doesn't need to be sacrificed for me. We can work interdependently. I am learning a new generative way to be in right relationship, and every day has been a new opportunity to grow. The medicine of white buffalo woman has been very present within my home lately. And I saw how I made the choice to eat the beef, and I felt how I regretted it. And I also learned how I needed to love that part of myself and to see what I was willing to do, something I hadn't done for 9 years. I listened to my body and I choose a different choice. I believe every day we get to be reborn. We get to claim a new identity every single moment if we choose to. And this is what makes our life fun. One day I'm Sheena, queen of the jungle. And the next I'm Sheena, fortune teller style queen of unsolicited advice, with my own silly, pathetic theme song complete with sad little trumpets. I don't know if I'll ever pin me down. I am an artist. I am art. I love having freedom to express. And then when I actually want to say something, I often find that I'm completely out of words and I end up reaching for someone else's. And the way of Namaste is quickly becoming for me an akash of some of my favorite teachers' messages and principles, where I hope we can all benefit from the timeless wisdom of these ancient storytellers. Richard Rudd says about this city, exquisiteness is experienced when the divine essence begins to shine through the individual. Exquisiteness hints at a beauty that's beyond all words. You shine like a diamond in the heart of creation, and wherever you look, you see other diamonds in various states of clarity, each one unique, and each one exquisite and incomparable. As the famous saying by Heraclitus goes, you can never step in the same river twice. This saying points to the truth of the eighth city, the truth of human nature. Like water, it's always moving, changing, and evolving, but the river itself is unchanging. And the river is consciousness. The people of the eighth city are not leaders. They are examples. They do not want anyone to follow or mimic them. Wherever such people see the inauthentic or imitative, their very nature exposes its ugliness. Because of this trait, they have a very powerful, liberating effect on individuals. At the same time, they're often criticized and speared by society. Like Socrates, they wish for people to find their own answers and their own questions. Their very presence acts as a light to free individuals from structured systems. Their language is the language of the rebel, and they use beauty as a means to reflect an individual's true nature. They are not limited to any single form of expression, but will play with science or art, yoga or tantra, logic or poetry, since to them all expressions can be a means to display the exquisiteness of the divine in form. To the person immersed in the blissfulness of this eighth city, all life is absolutely clear. This clarity, moreover, is paradoxically found in the very uncertainty and wildness of life. These people leave no tracks for others to follow. They know life is a rush of contradictions and mysteries never designed to be solved. Rudd goes on to say, people of the eighth city sparkle like exquisite rare jewels. Such people create their life as they walk it. Their legacy to the world is to dismantle all concepts of how one should live or what one needs to do in order to attain any particular state. These are the only people who are not strangers in the world, since they are inside existence itself. To them, the only outsiders in the world are those who look outside themselves for guidance or definition. And the only strangers in the world are those who spend their lives in imitation of someone else, because that's what makes them strangers to themselves. These people give you no hope of following them at all. The only thing they give their world is their own exquisite lovingness, their absolute desire in being abandoned to the mystery itself, with no need for method or meaning. Theirs is the rush of existence, the aching pulse of the passing moment, and the boundless joy that can only come from touching the core of your own existence. You know, there's a sacred time in a person's life when they claim their sexuality as sacred, and the very act of making love becomes a holy experience. When we surrender so deeply into making love with the universe, well, quite frankly, we stop getting fucked by her so hard. When we learn to dance with life, it stops being so hard. Everything can be seen as art, as poetry, as a reason to celebrate. We will never have this moment again, and that is something worth celebrating. My beloved just shipped out a new batch of pure cacao to Amazon, and that is something worth celebrating. Are we on a cacao farm in the Amazon right now, as I thought we might be? Well, no, that vision has come in a little bit sideways. But I just know that I'm seeing things out of order. And we will be there. We just got to put our magic, our quintessence, our love into this cacao and then send it off with a prayer that others will feel our love and share in our prayer to celebrate life as the ceremony that it is. I am so grateful to Om Cacao, who is sponsoring the way of Namaste and helping me get this thing off the ground so that I can offer complimentary memberships to people while we're getting started. This feels like such a blessing to be creating a new template, a community based on the principles of energy exchanges that go beyond paper money, but through trades and divine presence and shared prayers. Our attention is our greatest currency. And if I can be dream weaving with my favorite people online, why would I be worried about the money aspect? Build it and they will come. Build the playground and they will play. Be in my joy and align with my joy. Be in my art and align with more opportunities with artists. The way of Namaste is such a dream come true. To cultivate friendships with sacred souls coming around the metaphorical fire to spread more love and light and authenticity into the world. That's it. There's no hidden agenda. It's all about light and love. And I want to share it with everyone around me. This is how we redistribute wealth on our planet. It's reinvesting our priorities and how we spend our time. It's prioritizing our joy and our pleasure. When I was growing up, my parents worked so hard, easily 80 hours a week. My mom even ran a daycare center. I formed an opinion from an early age that work was more important than family, and that money was more important than me. I actually allowed myself to believe that I wasn't valuable if I didn't have money. And that was such a deep shadow that I need to uncover from my early childhood programming, where I didn't believe I was worth time and attention, and I lost my own confidence. This past weekend, I celebrated Mother's Day with my mother and her new husband. My beloved and I went to their new high-rise waterfront condo to celebrate their new home. I could have felt sorry for myself. I could have trapped my store in the woe is me for the love I didn't always believe I got from my mom. Or I could see her as human and perfectly imperfect. She did the very best she could with the tools that she had, and you know what? We've turned out okay. She is in her dream home, newly married to the love of her life. Why would I want to judge anyone's experience for being different than my own? This weekend helped me appreciate my partnership even more. Life isn't always going to be perfect, and sometimes old traumas are going to resurface, and they're going to show up just to remind us that the work is never over. But one thing I've learned over and over and over again through all of this, it's that fear is safe. When we can go all the way into the fear and see it for what it is. It's just some unexpressed opinion in there, coming up to be witnessed and reprogrammed. Sure, it wasn't fair. Some parts of our story were just not fair. But luckily, I'm leaving it up to the cosmos now for their divine justice, because that darkness was much too heavy to carry all on my own. I'm sending y'all so much love this week that no matter what life throws at you, you're finding a way to own it, claim it with style. Show the world how you made it your bitch. No, actually, no. Show the world how you became her lover. That's the story I'm here for. The earth in her lover era, maker of all the life and the love. Last week of Taurus season, let's soak in this deliciousness. Next week, we've got a full moon and Sagittarius, and we may be feeling a little bit more like leaving the house beginning next week. So this week, while we're all cuddled up at home, throw on something cute or comfy. Savor the berries. Enjoy the kombucha. Make all the love in all the ways. Namaste.